As I think of how to begin this, I already thought of the ending. And if the ending dictates the way the start of it's written, then I'm really rewinding what is.
What's going on, everybody? Brian with MachineMasters.com here, bringing you guys part 4 of the Mixing Skyzoo series. Today, we're not really going to be focusing on Sky's voice so much. We're going to be focusing on the instrumental that's surrounding his voice. I want to show you guys how I brought out the kicks in some of the tracks that needed a little more punch, and creating an overall just lower end as far as the beat went. First, I'll play the track for you, start a little into it so you guys could hear what exactly is going on. Take a listen.
As I think of how to begin this, I already thought of the ending. And if the ending dictates the way the start of it's written, then I'm really rewinding what isn't. Get it? Swear it gets harder to get it, but when you got it, to get it again's more in a sin. It's like product concealing.
Alright, so as you guys could hear, there's kind of a lot going on in the beat. It's a good thing. It's very sonically put together very well. But before I did any of the processing, the kick drum up here wasn't really cutting through the mix at all because there was so much percussive things going on. There's a drum break, there's the sample that has some percussion kind of elements to it. So I'm just going to get into exactly what I did. So I have the kick track right here. Basically what I'm doing is sidechain compression. Every time this kick drum hits on any one of these transients, a compressor is going to turn on for the sample, the bass, and I believe, yeah, the drum break up here. As you can see, I used the stock Pro Tools compressor on that. Now, the settings I use for this are pretty gentle. That it's not a lot of compression going on, and it's really quick, but I'll show you what it looks like when it's in use while it's being played. You'll see that whenever a kick drum hits, there'll be a drop in the decibels for the whatever compressor is on whatever track. Take a look.
As I think of how to begin this, I already thought of the ending. And if the ending dictates the way the start of it's.
Now, this is the same technique that a lot of EDM kind of guys use. You'll hear it much more harshly in their kind of stuff. Excuse me, but for this purpose, I just wanted to create kind of an empty space for that kick drum to land in. So like the sample will be playing, then the kick drum will hit and the sample will cut out for a second, then the sample will come back in once that kick drum is gone. That's the vision I had for it, because if you listen to it without this kick drum, there's still drums and whatnot, and there's a snare here too, but it just wasn't doing enough as far as the low end, besides the bass. But take a listen with just this.
As I think of how to begin this, I already thought of the ending. And
like that kick drum that's in the drum break just isn't punchy enough. It's not bringing enough to the table. So I wanted to really emphasize this kick, which is why I did this. All right, so to set this up, we're going to focus on the sample and the kick for now. It's the same thing for all of these, but I'm just going to focus on these two tracks right now. First thing you want to do is create a compressor on whatever you want to be compressed. In this case, I used the stock compressor that comes with Pro Tools, and I just put it on there right after that EQ that was put on the sample. So you got this compressor. Next thing you want to do is you want to set it up for bus compression. So in Pro Tools, and I believe Logic as well, there's a little key up here. That symbolizes sidechain. You'll see it throughout Pro Tools in all their default stock plugins. Like you can see it again right here. That's how you turn it on. So the first thing you want to do is you want to set up the bus on what you're going to be sending that kick drum to. In this case, I picked bus 9. So in order to continue to prepare that with a kick drum, you want to send this kick drum on a send bus to bus 9, as you can see I did right here. Select bus 9. You could even select bus 910. So let me delete that for you and then show you. So right now you just have this compressor being received from bus 9. Then you go to the kick, bus 9, and then this fader will come up. You want to just zero that out, so that way it'll send the whole signal of the kick. So now, if you play it just like this, nothing's going to be working. It's because you didn't turn on the sidechain function on the compressor. Right now, it sees that it's going to be receiving something for bus 9, but it doesn't know that it's for the sidechain. It's just getting signal, and it's not doing anything with it. So what you want to do now is just go over to this little key, and you just click that, and that will activate the sidechain. So now take a listen. So you can see that. I'm going to make the effects drastic so you guys could really hear what the effect exactly is. Like I said, that's kind of what a lot of EDM kind of guys do and things like that. But for the most part, I just want to keep this pretty simple. It creates more space for the kick, and further down the road, eventually it makes more headroom for the snare to really crack, and you could feel that kick on the 1 and 3, and you really feel that snare on the 2 and 4. So it gives it a good amount of space. Now that's really it for this tutorial, guys. It's a quick one, but in my opinion, one of the most overlooked things in I guess beat mixing or instrumental mixing. Oh, one more thing actually before I head out. This was particularly useful, and I use it probably in, I'd say, 85% of my beat mixes. When you use it, when you're trying to mix a bass and a kick, or an 808 and a kick, a lot of times these things are gonna clash like crazy because they're both super low end. So I always will do the same method with a bass. Put the compressor on the bass, and that creates, it allows it so that way this kick drum could hit and this bass could also play, but the bass will be ducked down a lot, so that way you won't really hear it as much. You make it quick so it's just the length of the kick drum, so that way they won't clash when they're mixing and get like some crazy low end distortion or anything like that. Alright guys, so until next Wednesday, stay tuned, keep mixing, and have a good one. Peace out.
As I think of how to begin this, I already thought of the ending. And if the ending dictates the way the start of it's written, then I'm really rewinding what isn't. Get it? Swear it gets harder to get it, but when you got it, to get it again's more in a sin. It's like product, concealing the end is in a sense. Our lights got us and sealing the wind.